It's that time.
It's about that time. I am very excited for tonight. I
Me
also
too.
desperately, we have an event in LA tomorrow and our nails have got to look good. So this is both an educational op and an essential thing that's happening.
It's
Uh,
perfect.
um, okay. Hello, everyone.
Hey,
It's our
friends. We're back. Day 2, Gel Boot Camp.
time flies when you're having fun. My nails are bare again, so it's time to paint them. I recorded the class yesterday and got some comments that people wanted to see that as well. So I think this one's being recorded and I think I'm going to share them on YouTube after. Caitlin, what are your thoughts on
Amazing. Give the
that?
people what they want.
Um, no pebbles. That's not what the people want.
She's like, but I did this yesterday and it was fine.
Right. What's different this go around?
I have a
Um,
sneaky cat in the background. We'll see if she behaves.
wait, first of all, that cat looks like a toy because it's not like it's like such a closed cat. Um, okay. So what we're going to do today is prep and peel off because the yummiest part of a gel manicure is obviously the color and the payoff at the end, but the thing that makes a gel manicure look the best and also is going to help you have the nicest removal experience is the prep work. And it's also where we see most of y'all go wrong. So we're going to just double click on that and we also had a masterclass with the fabulous LD yesterday, which Caitlin was also there for. And there were
I
some
had to.
comments wanting to see a peel off in action. So give people what they want. You know what I mean?
It's almost always the answer.
Yeah, what could go wrong? Um, so we're going to do a little double click on prepping and priming. Everything that I'm going to be using comes in our gel mani system, which you won't see when I put my camera on, but if you ever get lost, it's basically like having me and Caitlin on your shoulder with the directions here. And this is a great work surface to work on, particularly if you're new to gel, because getting acetone on your table, not a good idea.
Yeah.
Not a good idea. So I'm gonna do like an Atlas Queen takes her tea with milk situation, I think.
Ooh.
Because that feels fun. But I will change my camera and then Caitlin, if I missed anything while I'm flippiting, you can tell the folks at home what they're about to see.
Absolutely. If you're new here, welcome. We're glad you're here. And we're here for all your questions. So we do have this lovely chat box feature. Drop in anything you're curious about, anything you're struggling with your gel manis, and we will answer it. Either I'll answer it in the chat for you or we'll pass it to Liv. Um, but we like a chatty class, so don't be shy. Drop whatever you need in there and we will make sure to help. So we're here for. And to watch Liv's beautiful nails come to life, as always.
Well, they're not very beautiful right now, let me tell you. Oh. Um, okay, so we are going to start with what we always start with as a review quickly. But if you were here yesterday, you know that I didn't really have too much shaping going on with my nails, but I just want to make sure my nails are not, whenever they're naked is when I tend to like use them as tools, which is like the time that you should not use your nails as tools. So I just want to make sure that everything feels nice and smooth, particularly on the tips of your nails. I do see a lot of comments about people experiencing some peeling at the tips of their nails when they are peeling off their gel. And as I said yesterday, your tips are the part of your nails that it's like the most susceptible to damage because it's the oldest and it's the part that's seen the most. So you really want to make sure that your tips are nice and smooth with your file. And then when we get to the buffing piece, you want to make sure that those are nice and buffed down so that when you do your peel off, your nails are in the best kind of setup for that to happen whenever you decide to take your manicure off. But the clipper and the nail file come in your gel mani system. And then we're going to go right into cuticles. So if you are someone who's already tried a gel manicure and maybe you've had some issues and you are experiencing peels or lifting at the base of your nails, one cause for that could be how you're prepping your nails. So this will be an excellent class for you, and I'll give you some additional kind of tricks or hacks that you can use for when you are doing your gel at home. If this is your first manicure in a while or your first manicure ever, I like to go pretty, also if you guys can hear the wind outside, there are like 70-mile-an-hour winds in Los Angeles today. And I am fortunately very far away from them, but there are some pretty gnarly, scary wildfires around. So if you see a tree fall on me, don't panic. I could have it much worse, but just in case you see something crazy.
No
Um,
big deal.
no big deal. But if this is your first manicure in a while, I like to give a lot of cuticle remover because you probably have a lot of skin growing on your nail plate and you want to get all that skin off before you start painting. So I've applied cuticle remover all around my nails and I massage it in. I will share the joke I said yesterday, which is that I often say I massage it in because saying it in a British accent makes me feel more special and fancy.
You're
And
so multicultural.
I know I'm like, I feel quite like Sherlock Holmes. Um, but giving yourself at least 5 minutes with that cuticle remover on is going to be great for you because it gives that remover time to soften and the little gentle acids in that formula can exfoliate the cuticles a little bit, but we don't like to make you sit around and watch nothing happen. So pretend that I waited 5 minutes and then you're going to use your cuticle pusher and gently push back that dead skin. And I'm holding this cuticle pusher more or less horizontal to the surface of my nail plate. I'm not going down at an angle because that can scratch my natural nail. I really want to avoid anything on my natural nail and just really focus on the skin that grows on top of it because that skin, if I paint gel on top of it, it's going to lift pretty quickly because gel does not like to stick to skin. Same goes for a polished manicure as well. When you do this with long lasting or quick dry polish, we recommend that you use your thumbnail. You don't necessarily have to use the cuticle pusher, but it is a very convenient tool. And this shouldn't hurt, but I do like to be really see like all that skin. I know this is kind of gross, but all the skin is already starting to come off. And I just did this yesterday because I hadn't done it in a while. So push everybody back like that. Okay. Now, if you were a little extra with your cuticle remover and you feel like there's some extra kind of like liquid residue, you can always give your hands a quick wipe on a paper towel or something. But we are now ready to continue with the cuticle prep process. This is our buffing cube. It is four-sided. The grit on the ampersand side is slightly softer than the grit on the other sides. But what I like to do is think about this like a really yummy eraser, like from school, where I position the corner of that buffer right where the nail plate meets my skin. And I work in these little circular motions, like I'm being very specific with how I'm erasing something. And this makes it so that that dead skin basically gets erased without needing to use a cuticle nipper. because you don't need to cut your cuticles. You just want to give them a little buff. And then over time, they will learn to lie flat, and then you will not have to mess with your cuticles or clip them or anything. You just push them back and then buff them away, and you're good to go. Once I've done that, I want you to take a look at your cuticles. Does it look like there's any extra skin still there? You can always go back with your cuticle pusher. If it looks like there's a little bit more on there, and then you can buff it away. You really only get one chance to prep your nails for your gel manicure, and this is the part that is like not the most beautiful, and it's kind of the invisible work, but this is the part that's really going to make or break not only a manicure looking really neat, but also really lasting. So I like to just go back and make sure. And then once I've done that, I also give the surface of my nail plate a quick little buff. I'm not trying to like smooth out any ridges, but just kind of preps the canvas of your nails a bit, if you will, and having a slightly roughed up nail surface from buffing it will give the gel something to really hold on to. Now what you want to do is you want to go for a dip in the acetone remover pot. And that is very important for several reasons. You want to really take off any of that like dust and oil that's kind of hanging about after you've filed your nails, but you don't want to introduce any water into your manicure. So this is like that perfect cleanse step where it'll take off that debris, oil, etc. And it also works to dehydrate your nail plate. And you really want your nail plate. I know it sounds kind of counterintuitive because like in skincare and in life, you want to hydrate and drink water and moisturize and all those things. All those things you want, just not in the moment that you're doing your manicure. So I take my nails, I dip every nail in the remover pot, and I do not wash my hands. Do not be tempted to wash your hands, even if your nails feel kind of dusty. Adding water is going to make your nail plate expand. And then you are going to probably have chips way earlier than you want. If you are someone who is experiencing lifts and chips and peels, either with gel or with polish, there's a couple things you can do to enhance your prep to make it even more thorough. One of the things I like to do that's not an extra product you need to buy, you take the cleanup brush that comes in your gel mani system, and I like to kind of spot treat each nail. If you have particularly like defined folds really like around your nails, I particularly like to place that brush and wipe around my cuticle line, because sometimes like sunscreen or even cuticle remover can like to hang out in there. And I just think it gives you that extra bit of dehydration. And then I kind of just take it on all my nails. Or if you are someone who has nail primer, which is comes in this gorgeous sort of rose goldy bottle. If you were lucky enough to snag Advanced Nail Strengthener when it came out as a free gift in, what was it, November, December? Regular nail strengthener, which is available. These are all things you can use as another way to add even more adhesion. What you cannot use is ridge filler, and you cannot use nail brightener, but any of these three you can use as an added layer of kind of prep and prime for your gel manicure. Particularly, I like to use either nail primer or nail strengthener, because who doesn't want an added boost of strength for their gel manicure, but also because the base formula of nail strengthener is our primer with added strengthening benefits to it, it will also just continue to create adhesion between whatever you put on top of it. And it absorbs instantly, so it's not like you have to wait any time to dry. Okie doke. We are now ready for our peel off base coat. Peel off base coat is sort of, I think of it more as like a priming step because it is not the only base coat that you use. If you are doing a gel manicure, you always, always, always need to use gel base coat. If you want to be able to peel your gel mani off, you need to use peel off base coat and then gel polish base coat. But if there's a gel mani happening, you always need gel base coat. Peel off base coat is where we see most of y'all make mistakes, particularly with sheer colors, because it kind of highlights where you added too much. But what you want to do with peel off base coat is really wipe everything off the brush. Again, this feels kind of like silly because you're like, why am I doing this? But you'd be surprised how much formula is still on this brush, even though I've just spent a bunch of time wiping it off. This is probably enough for my whole hand. So what you want to do with peel off base coat is apply it in the center of your nail, leaving a little border of bare nail all around the outside. My metaphor of choice is you leave a little crust of bare nail. So whether you are a pizza person or you are a pie person, leave a little border of bare nail, and that gives your gel mani something to anchor to so that it doesn't, fly off in seconds. So this is all you need for peel off base coat. And a good test to see if you did the right amount of peel off base coat is your peel off base coat should be dry, meaning it will look matte in 1 to 2 minutes. If 2 minutes have gone by and it is still looking real shiny and real glossy, I would be willing to wager that you have way too much peel off base coat on there. So what I would do is I would just dip your nail in the remover pot and then wipe off a bunch off the brush and then try again. Because when you have too much peel off base coat on, your mani is probably going to come off too fast, faster than you'd like it to. And then if you're using a sheer color like CCT or the Queen Takes Her Tea with Milk, you can see where your peel off base coat was too thick and it's going to look like bubbles under your nail. So thin, thin, thin coat is all you need. And then once we get to the removal part, you can figure out whether you're someone who has a very dehydrated nail plate. So maybe you need a little bit more peel off base coat, or if you have a really hydrated nail plate, maybe you need less peel off base coat. It's a little bit of a Goldilocks situation, but thin, thin, thin coat, no matter what, is key. So we can see I'm almost fully matte here. And so now what I'm going to do is get my products in order for my next coats. So I'm going to do gel base coat, which of course you always need. The colors I'm going to do today are, I think I'll do Atlas on the bottom and then the Queen Takes Her Tea with Milk on top, just for 2 coats. And then you want your gel polish top coat on top of that. And if you haven't noticed, the different base and top and peel off coats for gel have this filled in ampersand, and gel polish base coat is the rose gold, top coat is the silver, and then peel off is the gold. Okay. Any
Real
questions?
quick, Liv.
Yeah.
Technical question. Apparently our spotlight is not working. Are you able to spotlight yourself?
Let's see. Yes, hold on. Let's see if this works. Did that work?
Studio audience. Did that work? Yes. Thank
Oh,
you. Wonderful.
okay.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Carry on, friends.
All right, cool. So yes, you want to have all your stuff ready to go. And then, okay, so moving right along, I've got my cleanup brush here. I've got my acetone remover pot here because this is very important for cleanup. And then I have my olive and bloom gel lamp here. When you get your gel lamp, you'll see there's a little sticker on top. Quick press is for 1 minute, long press for 2 minutes. Base coat and top coat cure for 1 minute, and color coats cure for 2 minutes. And you simply do that by tapping. That's one quick press. You can also turn the light off by just tapping it like that. And then a long press is a slightly longer depress of the button, and it goes for 2 minutes. If you think you clicked the wrong button, you can always, like I said, click it to turn it off and do it again. This is a 5-finger lamp. It has 17 bulbs inside that match the curvature of your hand, and it is custom engineered to cure your gel mani in the fastest amount of time. It is an LED lamp, meaning it has LED bulbs, which we love. But I'm going to say this every time. All gel polish, regardless of what brand it is, requires UV light to cure. So this does emit low amounts of UV light, but it is so low that you are exposed to less UV when you are just walking around outside. If you are someone who is concerned about exposure to sun, we can always recommend you do some SPF on the back of your hands and or fingerless gloves, but we would never make anything that would hurt you. Our founder had skin cancer a few years back, and she takes sun protection very seriously. So, and we want to keep you safe always. Okay, I'm going to put this off to the side here, and we're going to go in for our gel base coat. Another thing that we see a lot of with gel issues is that people experience like very gloopy gel base coat. And what happens a lot of the time is because someone has done too thick of a coat of peel off base coat, they're painting basically wet gel base coat on top of very wet peel off base coat, and it clumps up on itself, and then it kind of turns into like a booger consistency. So you want to make sure that your peel off base coat is nice and thin, and also that it's had enough time to dry. And then you want to basically wipe off, there's a theme here with gel, you want to wipe basically everything off the brush before you go in for a coat. When you are ready to apply your gel base coat, same painting rules apply as you would with a polish mani, which is that you start your brush in the center of your nail, you push down towards the base of your cuticle, and then you pull back. I like to get coverage of my nail in about 3 strokes, like that. And one kind of dip in the gel base coat, and then wiping off almost everything off the brush will probably be enough for all 5 of my fingers. And I've got some wide, thinky nails. So you need very, very little product when it comes to a gel manicure. Push down towards the base of your cuticle, pull back, and then you hit the 2 sides, like so. Another thing that you can do with gel that will not only help make your gel manicure look neater, but it will also help you with the longevity of your manicure, is you can cap the free edge of your nail. And what that looks like is just running the tip with the brush like that to put a little cap on the tip of your nail. If you have short nails, like I do on my thumb right here, capping could be a little bit more of a challenge. And if you're not feeling confident with capping, don't feel like you necessarily have to, especially if your nails are short, because your nails already have this built-in skin here to protect from impact. And that's what capping is really for anyway. But if you're looking to try to cap shorter nails and you want to give it a go, a trick I like to do is to pull back on my skin to reveal a little bit of that free edge that I wouldn't kind of be able to get to normally because my skin is in the way, and then I release. But you don't have to cap if you aren't feeling confident yet, or if your nails are really short, because you may not need it. If your nails are on the longer side, I would recommend capping because it can help protect from chips and lifting and peeling at the tip when your nails are on the longer side. Okay, so we've got our gel base coat applied, but before we're ready to cure that gel base coat, we absolutely want to make sure that the cleanup is immaculate. So I'm coming back to my acetone remover pot, which I always keep very tightly closed because it evaporates very quickly. Dip my cleanup brush in that acetone, and I'm gonna really clean up all around the perimeter of my nails. One, for safety reasons, because we don't want to have any uncured gel on our skin. And also because if you have any gel that is somehow cured onto, say, your sidewalls, that's going to, in a few hours or a few days, be the place where your gel mani starts to lift. So keeping a really clean perimeter all around your cured gel is very important. You can really take your time here though, because gel does not cure in air. So you don't have to worry about racing against the clock and having your gel start to dry before you are ready, which is one of my favorite things about gel, because I feel like I can just take my time and enjoy the process. Okay. Gel base coat is on. I'm going to go in for a quick press of the lamp here. And we can take some questions if we have any.
Yeah, we've got a great one from Jasmine. Talking about when we clean up, does your acetone on the brush ever flood your nails? I dip my brush and sometimes it floods the sides of my nail. Do I need to repaint if that happens?
Like there's too much liquid on your brush? I would give it,
Yeah.
I mean, I sometimes, if my acetone is very fresh, sometimes that can happen. I just give it a beat before I go to swipe it because acetone, like I said, evaporates very quickly. So you can give yourself just a second to let a little bit of it evaporate, but you should be fine.
And
As long
that's what you were
as
just saying about gel doesn't dry in air.
yeah.
So adding a little gel to that layer, if acetone washes off too much, is not a big deal.
All right. We are going to go in with our first coat of color. I'm going for Atlas, which is the prettiest pearly white shade. And I think this is going to give me a little bit of subtle shimmer on my nails. Again, I'm wiping pretty much everything off the brush here. And even if you think you got everything off, there's still a little bit hanging out there. Gel definitely moves a lot more slowly than regular polish does, so just want to keep an eye on it. Second coat here, or I should say first coat of color, second coat of gel. I'm going to push down towards the base of my cuticle like that, and then get coverage in
Beautiful.
2 strokes. Push down towards the base of my cuticle, pull back. And what I love about gel too is that I can spend all day, I mean, not literally all day, but I could spend tons of time really putting that gel exactly where I want it. And like, let's say like I've got a little bit, like if I have too much in my brush, I can put like a little dot there and I can come back to that in a second and then really do as many kind of swipes at it to make sure that it's looking exactly how I want it to. And you won't really get those like streaks, those like brush strokes that you get with long lasting polish. You're not going to get that with gel because it's such a self leveling formula. It's not like you can mess it up by continuing to tinker with it. so fun. And I'll show you here again on my thumb what I mean with the capping thing. You can see that the skin of my fingernail extends beyond the free edge of my nail. So if I were to, smash this onto a keyboard or something, my nail probably wouldn't get dinged. But if you are looking to learn how to cap shorter nails, pulling back that skin is a great option. Another thing that you can do, Miss Pebbles, with capping to help get a really smooth coat is you can actually, before you even go to paint your nail, you can run your brush along the tip of your nail first and then go in for your kind of full coverage coat. And what that'll do is that'll smooth over any sort of extra lip of gel that you've got going on at the tip there, so that it's one kind of smooth, even coat. So I've got one coat of Atlas here. Now I'm going to go for cleanup. I want to say it was Jen Mont. I don't know if she's here, but I think she had a question about capping short nails. It is here. And
She just asked that question,
Oh,
so you're
yeah.
answering it perfectly.
Jen Mont is who I want to be when I grow up because she is a
Our,
all-star esthetician and she
our
always,
Esty bestie.
bestie, she always has like the most thoughtful analysis of like our various care products. And she's also like the nicest human ever.
True, true.
Okay, so we go into Pebbles is speaking to the wind outside, clearly. But I go in and I want to clean everything up super nicely because I don't want any gel to kind of be cured. It creates like a little bridge between your nail and then your cuticle, and then eventually that bridge will like lift off. And it's very annoying because it then becomes like this piece that flaps and it is frustrating. And for someone who takes a lot of time to do their nails, I don't want to have my manicure come off sooner than I want to. That's annoying. So I've gone for a long press here. Show you again. 2 minutes. And then I like to take time to think. Yes, what's up?
Lizzie had asked if you could show us how to use the poppy. Do you
Oh,
have
yeah,
one nearby? If not, I
of course.
can assist.
Yeah, I can show you. If you're new to painting or if you're like feeling like you need a little boost of confidence, Poppy also of course works on all of our gel polish bottles. So I will show you how to do that with my next coat.
Perfect.
It is like a microwave minute though. The 2 minutes, you're like, whoa. Like I'm ready for my popcorn, guys,
Mhm.
But yes, Poppy, while we're waiting, this is Poppy. Poppy comes in our gel mani system. So if you don't already have a Poppy and you want to get a gel mani system, best way to get it. I like to nerd out over something that I'll show you in just a second with our gel polish bottles. So thank you for whoever asked that question, Lizzie.
Mhm.
I will take any opportunity to dork out over the stuff that Anne has made, which is our gel polish bottles look different from our long-lasting polish bottles because they are all one color. The color of the cap and the color of the bottle are representative of the color of the shade inside. I'm not sure it'll show up on camera, but Atlas, which is a pearly white, this bottle has like a pearlescent finish to it. So it's pretty magical. And also the manufacturer that makes the bottom of this is a different manufacturer than the cap manufacturer. So these have to match perfectly and they're made in 2 separate facilities, which is crazy. But when you're ready to use Poppy, just like our long lasting polishes and our quick dry polish, our polish has an overcap on it. So to use Poppy, you want to pop off the overcap, which you do by simply pulling it off the top like that. And you will see inside, this is what's called the inner cap. Our gel bottles have a black inner cap because our gel polish cures in the presence of light. So by having this black inner cap, it helps protect light from touching the contents of the inside of the bottle. It's also why this bottle is completely coated, because that again helps it from being exposed to air. Excuse me, to light. So when you're ready to put on Poppy, you'll notice that the inner cap has this sort of notch. So this notch has a flat side on either side there. What you want to do is line up the flat side of Poppy, which you can see from this top-down view, flat side of Poppy with the flat side of the notch of the inner cap. And why you want to do that is the flat notch on the brush corresponds to the fan side of the brush. So you'll see when you look at it from this angle, the brush looks like kind of a fan. When you turn it this way, it obviously becomes much more narrow. This fan shape, this wider rounded tip, is why it is so easy to paint with olive and June brushes. So when you have your brush placed perfectly like that, makes it really easy to paint. And now you are ready to press down, and you've got that perfect Poppy brush placement. I like to hold Poppy in my thumb like this. Again, I'm wiping almost everything off the brush, and I'm ready to go in for my next coat of color. This is the Queen Takes Her Tea with Milk, as seen most recently on the legendary Selena Gomez, but I do feel like a lot of people in the community are wearing this color right now.
It's a huge favorite
It is such a fave. It's just like
in
such a
both formulas.
totally. So again, pushing down towards the base of my cuticle and pulling back like so. Another thing that we see comments on is like if I got fuzz or something in my nail, if you haven't yet cured your coat and you see a piece of fuzz in it, you can go in and just kind of pick it out. And then if you have like a little bald spot from where you picked out the fuzz, you can just re-smooth the gel over it. And that's another thing about gel that's so perfect, because once you've cured a layer of gel, you've sort of banked that layer. So you don't have to worry about messing up your coat underneath when you're doing your next coat of gel on top.
So just to reiterate, since someone had asked earlier, once it's cured and you see a fuzzy in there, that fuzzy is your bestie till you take your mani off.
Yes. I would recommend that you learn to love and live with that fuzzy, or do another coat on top to kind of cover that fuzzy perhaps. Or you pick something that's sort of shiny so that you can sort of distract from the fuzzy. But it's kind of like it's kind of like, I don't know, like those fossils where there's like a bug in the amber. It is in there. So learn to love and live with your fuzzy. Okay, so that is a second coat of the Queen Takes Her Tea with Milk. This hand, I'm going to close that up, and then we're going to go in for a long press here.
Perfect timing as we got a bunch of questions come through. Um, Danica wanted to know, how long does a bottle of the gel color last compared to our long lasting?
Oh my gosh. Well, SLA would not like that I say this because she's the business side of everything, but I have yet to finish any bottle of gel I've ever had, and we've been testing gel for years. Gel to me lasts so much longer than long lasting polish because it never gets gloopy or dries in air the way long lasting polish does. And I also find that I use a lot less of it. So we conservatively say that you get about 10 manicures from every bottle of gel, but if you're asking me from experience, I feel like I've gotten like 20 manicures at least so far out of this bottle of the Queen Takes Her Tea with Milk. So yeah, it's definitely a good one. Okay, so that is my the Queen Takes Her Tea with Milk coat. I'm wondering, maybe I want to should I do another coat of Atlas? Would that be pretty? Do I like it like that? I'm gonna leave it like this. What am I
Hmm.
saying? We are ready for our coat of top coat now. All of our steps here, by the way, have inner caps in them. So if you're feeling like you need the extra kind of training wheels with Poppy, you can use Poppy on top of any step in gel. Top coat is the hardest step for me, I think, because it's like the most liquidy. And so I have to be extra careful when I'm applying my gel top coat to make sure that I don't flood anything. So I'm just going for a nice thin coat of top coat on every nail. Like so. And whereas with super glossy top coat or quick dry top coat, I don't always clean up my coat of top coat because it's clear and I'm like, okay, if I made a mistake, you can't really tell. But with gel, you absolutely must clean up every coat that you do because one, we don't want that uncured gel, but also we don't want that coat to be cured onto your skin because that's going to make your gel mani lift earlier than you want. And to mess it up on your last coat of top coat, that's just like, come on, you already did all the hard stuff. Don't what is it? It's like when you're at you didn't come this far to come this far, you know? You go in, clean up all around.
Susan asked, what happens if you miss a spot on your nail during the top coat?
If you miss a spot on your nail with the top coat, what you'll find when you go in for that final cure, and then you take your nails out, and then you touch your nails, and you're like, wait a minute, why is this not fully? You'll feel it as kind of like sticky or tacky because the only coat of gel that dries fully hard and shiny and not sticky or tacky is your coat of gel top coat. So if you missed a spot and you can feel it, I would recommend going for another even coat of top coat on top and then recuring because you don't want that exposed uncured gel kind of out there because it'll be sticky and smudgy and smeary.
And what about air pockets in your gel? Christy said after a few days she sees air pockets. Is that because of too much peel off?
Yes, that is mostly likely because of too thick of a coat of peel off, particularly we see it a lot with the sheer colors like the ones I just did. And that's because peel off is too thick and then you're seeing the kind of like moisture that's in the peel off kind of hang out under your nails. All right. So that is my cured gel top coat. Now I'm running my fingers all over my nails and they feel nice and shiny and hard and smooth. If you have really long nails and you cured you capped your free edge and it feels a little sticky, you can always stick your fingers under the lamp and cure that as well. If you got any gel under your nail that you weren't able to clean up, just so that everything is nice and cured. And now, because everything is dry, you can go in for some hydration. And what I like to do to feel quite chefy is I take my cleanup brush and I dip it in some cuticle balm and I go all the way around my nails like that to give some hydration back to my nails. Acetone is more drying than our acetone-free remover, so giving your nails some hydration love back is always a good thing to do. It also makes your nails look so pretty because everything looks better when it's a little glossy. Very gorgeous. And that's that. And this makes me feel a bit like a princess, if I'm being honest. This is probably what Caitlin feels like every day.
Ah,
Uh,
perhaps on good days.
so what I'm gonna do is um I'm going to show you how to peel off your gel because you guys wanted to see it yesterday and you didn't see it. So if your manicure is freshy fresh, this is probably going to be harder to do than it would be if it were like a couple days old. So, bear that in mind. It's not meant to like come off just by looking at it because then you would have a manicure that doesn't last as long as you'd want it to. But what I'm doing is I'm taking the sharper side of the cuticle pusher and I'm lifting really gently all around the edge. And I'm concentrating on the sides and the base of my gel mani first. Because as I mentioned at the top of class, the tips of your nails are the weakest and they're kind of the piece that usually has the most damage. So I'm leaving that for last and I'm really gently just working my pusher under my gel and then I lift it off. And what you'll see, that little bit kind of looks like glue because it's glycerin thing. That residue that's left, that's just the peel off base coat. So you can just peel that off. And you'll see that my nail looks perfectly healthy. If there's any little bit of gel there that's stuck on, you can use the pusher to push it off, or you can use the buffer and just buff away any of that residue. But that's how you get the little gel peel off graveyard, if you will. And sometimes I get it off in one piece. I was showing off for you guys today. Sometimes you don't. It's not a failure on your part if you don't get it in one go. So be kind and gracious with yourself and all that stuff.
Mhm. Most of mine don't come off in one because I have
Yeah.
longer nail beds. So it's all
So
good.
that
Um,
that's it, my friends.
Jasmine had a question here that I will read to you. She said
Okay.
as she was painting her gel color on her right hand, flooded the nail with color. This time decided to clean it up. What's the best way to deal with flooding your nails? My cleanup seemed okay, but when I cured it, I felt like I definitely left gel on.
You flooded the
The color shade.
uh what's the best way to do it? I think two it's two things. One, it's like how it looks, and then it's another thing where it's like, is it gonna cause your gel to peel off sooner? So like if it's like lightly flooded where it like just kind of kissed the cuticle a little bit, you're probably gonna be okay as it grows out. Um, but the best thing about gel is that you can really take your time cleaning it up. So I would say if you do find yourself flooding it and you haven't cured it yet, go ahead and take your time to clean up all around it. Or if you have like a wooden cuticle pusher from like a press on, use that to kind of scoop under there and clean it up really well. My best tip would be to do everything you can to keep it looking good before you cure. Curing gel like a little bit is not the end of the world. It's the repeated exposure that could potentially cause an allergy anyway, if you're someone who is going to get an allergic reaction. So I would say do the best you can and clean up as much as you can.
Current takeaway, wipe off the brush all the time before applying anything. Yes.
Yeah, all the times. But yeah, what an exciting live peel off demonstration that was.
Mhm.
Um, okay, friends. That concludes day 2 of Gel Bootcamp. We have a very special guest tomorrow. Caitlin will be back with the one, the only Katie Moser. We bow down. Katie is a gel queen and excited for you guys to hear her tips and her tricks. We will be back Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week, same time on Zoom. We'll be here.
Be
Uh,
here, ready for your questions.
Say you have cured your base and you mess up color, can you swipe it with acetone? Yeah. If you've already cured your base, you're good to go. You can swipey and fix stuff. Okay, my friends. Caitlin, I will see you for something very fun in 7 minutes.
7 minutes. I'll see you there.
Time flies when you're with your besties. Okay, we'll put it on YouTube. I got you.
Yes, we hear you loud and clear. See you on YouTube and everywhere else.
Bye, y'all. We miss you already. See you tomorrow.
Bye.